Hello again. You guys getting used to seeing my garage window yet? Oh, my seatbelt's closed on the door. Having a rough start already this morning. This afternoon. I have a handful of packages to send out. Now, when they're in envelopes, is it still considered a package? I don't know. If not, I have 7 stuffed envelopes and a box to send out today. Before I can even get them set down, it's like when you're holding a stack of something and everything in the middle goes squirting out and all you have left in your hand is what was on the top and what was on the bottom of the pile. Yeah, that's what happened. So I've got a couple pieces of mail on my floorboard. I've got a couple pieces that went off the side onto, between the door and the seat. I'll have to go fishing for those. I am on my way to Richland for a massage appointment. It's gonna set me back $150 because I'm doing a 2-hour massage. Hopefully Miss Molly is prepared. Usually, as it is, when she does a 1-hour massage with me, she usually has to book her own massage for either that same evening or, within the, next day or so. I kind of had the right of way there, dude. Stupid people. Rules of the road. I have been getting massages with Molly off and on for 9 years. We were just talking about this a couple weeks ago when I had my last massage. And it was funny, and then like a week later, the memory came up on my Facebook about getting my massage done at the school. And when I was getting my massages done at the school, there was another student there named Beth and Molly, and I loved both of them, but for different reasons. Beth was really, really, really good at massaging feet. Whereas Molly was the superior deep tissue massage therapist. So when they were both in school and they were in the same class together, I didn't book based on what I needed done. I booked on their availability and just kind of went with, whatever. And then after they graduated, I followed Beth into her practice, and she did my massages for maybe a year and a half. And then her husband worked for Sears. And I'll just tell you how long ago, this was, for people that know this stuff. When Sears started closing down a bunch of their stores, unfortunately, our store was one that closed. So her husband was suddenly unemployed. they tried for a long time to, you know, make the monthly expenses on her, based on her massages. And well, he looked for work here locally, and it just turned out that it just wasn't going to happen. And he ended up finding a job over on the west side of the state. And so she moved, and I was like, oh man. So then the hunt went on to try to figure out where Molly was at. And I found her, and I've been seeing her ever since. And the reason we say off and on is because it's based on my finances. You know, massages are very expensive. Currently, I pay $75 an hour for a massage. When I first started seeing Molly, they were $50 an hour. And I was going weekly then, which was nice. I do miss my weekly massages. I wish I could do like 2 hours every week, because even that is, you know, just is a drop in the bucket of what needs to be done. You know, over time, you know, just like everything else, prices go up. And here we are now at $75 an hour. Normally I still do 2 a month. Even at 75, I still try to do 2 a month. But with this being a 2-hour one, I'm not sure if I will have another one this month. Kind of have to, I'll decide that at the end of this one, I guess. When I go to check out. So I got a couple hours to think about whether or not I'm going to do another one this month. I mean, if I'm going to do it, this is the month to get it done, because it's bonus month and we've got, you know, extra money in the bank. I also need to message my tattooist, my tattoo artist, and see if I can get an appointment scheduled to get my left arm done. It's all line work, so that shouldn't set me back too terribly. Hopefully she still has the images and stuff. I don't have to try to find them again. But yeah, the off and on has always been about me having the money. You know, obviously when I quit my job and we went down to a single income, there was no money to spare anywhere. I mean, we were robbing Peter to pay Paul for several months, while I was in between when I quit my job and when I was granted disability. And looking back, I mean, I know some of that could have been alleviated if I had applied for disability like right when I quit my job. But I was, you know, if you watched my stream on anxiety, then, you know, that was when I had my revelation as to why I hadn't done the application yet. But I was really struggling to do it mentally. You know, I knew I needed to get it done. You know, I knew it was going to be a rough road. I was expecting there to be a fight with the state, as always. You know, and I wasn't really mentally prepared for that fight. I wasn't in the headspace to even try to have the fight with the state, if that makes sense. And so, we struggled for months, and every month it was, okay, who did we not pay last month? We got to make sure we pay them this month, and then who are we skipping this month? So it was truly a game of robbing Peter to pay Paul by its, rawest of definitions. And then, I did my disability stuff, and there was no fight. There was no, I was approved straight out of the gate within like 5 weeks of doing my application, which is, almost unheard of in this state for it to go through that fast. And I'm like, dang, I'm really jacked up. Which, I know that. I know that I've got a lot of stuff going on. That's why I quit my job. It wasn't I'm sick and tired of working and I'm just gonna quit. It wasn't my husband makes enough money and we could afford to do this. It was, I can no longer function like this. Because I couldn't take my meds and go to work because of the way they affected me. And so I was suffering every day in pain at work. It hurt to move. I had a blow-up mattress in my office, and I would lay down every day at lunch. And that was where it started, was just sleeping on my lunch break. And then as things got worse and got worse and got worse, I was finding that I was having to message my boss and being, it was like, I've got to lay down. I've got to lay down. I need to lay down. I've got my alarm set for 20 minutes. If you don't hear from me, please come wake me up. And it was just ridiculous. And granted, it was fortunate that, this was all happening during COVID, and, the laws had changed and business was really, really slow. My typical client load was around 40. And at that point I had like 3 or 4 clients. So it was like, no big deal. She's like, if you need to lay down, lay down. Just don't miss your next appointment. It's kind of how it ended up going. But then at some point that even wasn't enough. Like, cat naps weren't enough. I would, lay down to take a 20-minute nap, and then I couldn't wake up. I was sleeping through my alarms, and, it just got really bad, and I could not function anymore. And I struggled for months with the decision to quit my job because, I knew the position that was going to put them in. Once business started picking back up, and COVID and all the restrictions started being lifted, and and all that stuff, I knew what a pinch it was going to put them in. So I really struggled with that. And when I had a total breakdown when I went in to tell my supervisor that I was putting in my notice. Totally had a breakdown, bawling my eyes out. I probably look like a damn idiot. I'm an adult. It's not like I'm 16 years old and it's my first job and I'm all emotional over it. But I was totally emotional over it. And it wasn't anything other than, it was just the emotional release. I think that, finally telling somebody and being completely honest with her about the level of pain that I was in. Because up up until that point, really the only people that knew everything were my husband, obviously, because I live with him, and my best friend, who's a nurse. And we spend a lot. We spend time together. I go to events with her. I go to events to watch my nieces. And so she was seeing a lot of one-on-one stuff. And so she was witnessing a lot of that pain as well. And the difficulty that I was having with things, simple things, just walking. How difficult that was getting for me, and sitting, being able to sit anywhere. And everybody kind of knew there was issues, but like I said, the only ones that knew really how bad it was my husband and my friend. Well, of course, my doctor. But ultimately, I think that's why I broke down when I was putting in my notice, because it was like letting it all out, just how bad things were, and hearing it for myself. Hearing it come out of my mouth as I'm telling somebody else. It was really hard. It's kind of a slap in the face to me sometimes, I feel, because it's, one of the things I used to tell my clients all the time is, to say it out loud. Whatever you're thinking, say it out loud to yourself. If you're struggling with, change, don't just write down what you want to do. Say it out loud. If you're going to write a goodbye letter, don't just write it. Read it to yourself out loud. Because when you hear your own words come out of your own mouth, it has a very different impact than, say, just writing it down. And it's like, dang it. It's experiencing the very things that I was teaching my clients that, they should do, or, that may help them. Not that they should do. There is no should in therapy. Not coming from the therapist anyway, or the counselor, or whatever you call it, depending on the profession and the state. The authority shouldn't be saying you need to or you should do. That's taking ownership of your client's actions, because now it becomes your idea. That makes sense. But yeah, giving that suggestion to people, to read stuff out loud. I said it really kind of slapped me back in the face when I've done it, and it's slightly different because I'm not writing down and then reading something. It's just, vocalizing. And the same thing happened during my anxiety stream, is that I was talking about anxiety, and I was talking about other people, general. I wasn't talking about my anxiety specifically. And then as I was talking, it hit me why I was having so much difficulty getting that paperwork done. So yeah, it's crazy. Well, I'm here for my massage, so I'm gonna go get myself checked in. It's about 10 till, but she may be in there back from lunch, although I don't see her truck. Might give me a few minutes to get the mail picked up off the floorboard from between the door. Get that back up into the seat where I can find it. I'm gonna ask her. I don't know where the post office is here, so I get to drop by the post office on the way back out of town. see how I feel after the massage, and I may stop at the Country Mercantile on my way home, since it's on the way home, and do a little walk through there. I don't know. Depends on how I feel after this. She tends to beat me up pretty good. And, you know, this one's even longer than normal, so we'll see. We'll see how I feel when it's over. But in the meantime, peace out. Thanks for tuning in for the drive-in, and I will splice in the drive home. I'll record the drive home separate. I think I'm going to start splitting these up. So yeah, thanks for joining on the drive into town, and we'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Thanks again. Bye-bye.